gang, so what we're doing today is a front brake job, much needed on the 2011 Malibu. I haven't been working much on it. I've been screwing around with motorcycles, but yeah, these lug nuts came off easy, almost too easy. I just want to add, in case I forget at the end, the torque values are very important with modern disc brake systems, especially after you've removed them the first time and you don't have that little cotter pin thing or whatever it is, that little loop pin that holds. There it is. These are original, I believe, and they are smoked. Yeah, that on there helps hold it in, but after you remove that, no one ever puts them back on. And without the correct torque on this rotor, you can actually get a little warpage, they say, and it can be a micro amount of warpage. These pads ride so close to the disc under normal operation that you can really just get a little whooshing sound, and it's a really bad deal. So well, first step wasn't too easy, and actually in hindsight maybe I should have loosened the caliper first. That'd have been the deal. Yeah, these ones are about 26 pounds, they say. Guys all over the internet argue with it. Don't just go a little past hand tight. I don't know what your calipers. I think you're a little nutty not putting it right at torque. Calipers coming off on the highway make a lot of noise, and you know when it happens. You see, you take these out. Always use your hands on any fastener that's loose enough to do so. And when you put them back in as far as you can with your hands. It's just going to help alleviate possible cross-threading. Don't go hero mode on it, on every nut that you use. Keep all your nuts in a safe spot. That goes for all your nuts. Keep them in a safe spot. All right, so this little rump humper is typically hard to get off. You're going to really work it. I see guys use curled, pry bars on it. Oh, these sliders are good too. I'll get into the sliders and show you guys some maintenance that you might want to make sure is good on your sliders. And just work it off. These pads are tight. Got the caliper housing. Alrighty, now, ooh, that's way extended. Yeah, these are probably smoked more than the driver's side. The driver's side was really bad. So one thing I always tell people to do is hang this thing, and I'm sure any video you'll watch will say that. You don't want to put pressure on the caliper lines. They're rubber lines. This car has only got 50,000 on it, but it's a 2011. So those lines have seen a lot of time on earth, and one of these brakes, you're into some more work. Banjo fittings and replacing that, and that's another expense. So be careful with it. Don't change them until they leak. Gloves aren't a bad idea when you're talking about brakes, because, I don't know. I've heard mixed emotions, but I believe there is some kind of a bad substance they use on these pads. Used to call it, heaven forbid, but they used to call it asbestos. They actually had a brand of brakes called asbestos back when I was a kid. They were the best ones. Oh, you got to get the asbestos brand. Oh, that's my torque wrench. Yeah, another big thing, folks. Don't use your torque wrench for anything other than torquing. And I'm big on a torque wrench. Any of you guys think you're gonna start monkeying on all your crap? Get a torque wrench, man. I'm telling you. Don't screw around. Let me see if I can break this. These are 90 pounds, and I'm a small old man. 90 pounds is a biatch. There is a little breaker bar trick you can do. If I can get under there, you can run a. Oh, you know what I can do? Epic fail. Turn the wheel. These are front brakes. That's what makes them so much easier than yours. Fine, that's a lot of torque. You're torquing. Yeah, I think even a weak man like me can get him after that. And I go back. I don't use a 1/2-inch ratchet very often, especially working with my motorcycle, unless I'm doing a chain adjustment. I need to get the, the rear nut freed up. But for the most part, I don't use a 1/2 inch, but brakes, these little beefy monsters are under some torque, and you really need to, see, that's kind of a bitch there too. Like I say, just get them loose enough to where you can get them with your hands. And typically you can. Your hands are way less likely to cross thread something. Yeah, there was a beefy bolts in there, 15 millimeter on both, and it was both sides. And that's not what the owner's manual says. It's not what the shop manual says. These are supposed to be, I think these are 15s, but these ones were 13s or something, or vice versa. But a 15 worked for both mine. I don't know. Crazy deal. I guess Chevy just ran out of parts the day this car was built. But these ones, wow, that came awfully easy. Alrighty, so now this is your caliper bracket, they call it, and this should come off fairly easy, and it doesn't. Wow, Smoky Mountain High, Colorado, Smoky Mountain High. Yeah, oh, I'm glad I went with that. Oh yeah, way overdue. But like I said, you know, be careful. That's your speed sensor wire there. Don't screw around with that. It's a good time to check your boots on your CV, you know, shaft and all that. Yeah, the boots look good. You don't want, if you got a crack in these boots, man, get them changed right away because your CV joint will go. And that's like a $200 part right there. That's your main go-go juice to get going. So, I don't know. Back at the workbench, and it's nice to work on these at the bench because this is where you want to spend some time. Now, everybody and their brother-in-law says, take these apart and lube them. But I'm telling you, they feel like butter. And I think if you disturb this rubber, yeah, it might not be that big a deal. I'm going to take a look. But boy, I tell you, they're old. And I'm not a huge fan of disturbing it, but I'm going to do it. And there they are. They're dirty. Give them a little wipe down. These are your sliders. And they are important for many factors. One of which is your own freaking brain going crazy when your brakes squeal all the goddamn time. And it's just another factor. And I'll show you something else that helps get the squeal, or you know, the potential to have squealing. You don't want that. Give these a good gooshing. Really douche them up. I'm gonna really hit that end. This shit is cheap. And you want to use, this is the actual Silglide brake lubricant, and it's designed for very high temperatures. Believe it or not, brakes can get as hot as your engine. And in most cases, it's hotter than the inside of your engine. Like, brakes can get up to like 1,000 degrees. So don't screw around using like some kind of crazy shit. So again, put this in easy. And boy, that rubber boot, like I said, if you don't have to disrupt it, I would not. But this was pretty easy to do. Check your car if it's not this exact car. And then make the sure hell that boot gets all the way back over. If grime gets in there, you're toast. And another quick thing, not all brake pad replacements give you the new sliders. I'm telling you what. I would see if you can buy them if your pads don't come with them or what have you. Easiest way to get these out is push them in. You might be able to get them out the other side, but look at the scarring on that. No wonder I wasn't getting any braking. Yeah, my braking was really reduced. It was almost like I got anti-lock brakes, but these were like real anti-lock brakes. Alrighty, so there's yeah. You could clean that up real good with a brush, I'm guessing. Yeah, look at the ridges. I don't know if you can see that, but it's just like a Lay's riffle potato chip. That's not good. You want a very smooth surface on your brakes. Get rid of that. Now, if these are real grimy, I use a 30 millimeter Boar's brush. I don't have a 30 millimeter. I got a bunch of guns, but for some reason I had this one. I must have bought it at an estate sale. And it was in a gun cleaning kit I had. And I was like, you know what? I don't have a brush. But any kind of Boar's brush would work. Just get the rust off. You don't have to go crazy here. You just want that piece to get on there smooth and flush. If it kind of doings up because a chunk of rust is freaking on there, you know what I mean? It'll suck. Yeah, you just want to get the crud. See, yeah, that one had crud. And that crud will inhibit this from going flush against that bracket housing. So, and there it is, asbestos. So, might just be a second of noise. Sorry about the noise, sports fans. Alrighty, so put your caliper in a position where you can get it. These are good. These should wiggle and move and slosh in and out real easy. You'll squeal for sure if you don't do that. This blade piece goes to the top, and honestly, you really can't do them the wrong way because they won't go on. And they should snap in there really nice and flush. See, there's a little bit of a gap. You can see I've done it right. Yeah, I don't know. A little bit of a gap. It's kind of strange it doesn't flush in. Maybe GM uses these for a variety of cars. Who knows? For the price of admission on this video, folks, here's a little trick. It's probably most people that are mechanics know this, but I've seen a ton of videos where guys don't do this. You can get a harmonic from these sliders where the pad is just in there a little bit, and you'll get noise. A little bit of slide glide. Sorry about the English there. Will save the day for you. I think I'll show you the back of the pads where you should do it too. Right where the this shit is like hydrophobic too, so it tends to get moisture wicked away, and there's less chance of corrosion on these metal parts where the slide is. I would just advise it. If you don't have a tube of this stuff right here, you usually get a little packet with your brake pads. Now they're giving you organic crap that's safe for the environment and stuff. Not that I'm, I like the environment as much as everybody. I'm a little bit of a tree hugger, but let's have some common sense here. This is your car you're talking about. That little bit of grease right there. Oh, I saved the planet because I used some kind of shitty organic grease on my brakes. Yeah, I don't know. You're not going to save the planet there, dude. Not with the industries going on around here, but yeah, I don't know if you guys heard of, the pandemic. One good thing that came out of the pandemic was the fact that emissions has gone completely bonkers down. And you wouldn't have thunk it, because everyone's, all these car manufacturers, cars aren't producing that much of a problem. Now, initially getting these in, it is a bitch. I don't know why. Better than a rat's ass, I'm telling you. I'm not sure that's good or bad or whatever, but because they do have to give a little give. When the caliper kind of loosens up, it doesn't go back. It just kind of gives up the pressure, and then those pads float. And they float very close to the disc. Any little bit of floating where it... That's why you don't want your discs warped at all. As it comes around, it hit that side. Really be a rump humper. So... Alrighty, so that's all good. This mission is complete. That assembly is put together, and I believe it's done right. Boy, I'll tell you, those sliders are very tight, but I guess it's kind of good. You can never get it together if they were flopping around in there. You'd be in all kinds of trouble. So, alrighty. Sounds nice on paper, but those are the kind of brakes that tend to squeal more. They perform unbelievable, but and I got semi-metallic pads too, whatever they are, the gold, some material that's supposed to be good for you. Some cereal supposed to be good for you, but I'm not sure on these ones if you have to do it. On the cheaper ones, you definitely clean them. You will be bumming out if you don't. You won't get a good break in, and you'll immediately start having pitting in your rotors. Yep. There it is, kids. Brake parts cleaner, Super Tech, brought to you by the makers of Walmart. I think it's all the same shit. This is a non-chlorinated one. I don't know what that means. I've never heard of it before. So, alrighty. Oh, that's good. Oh, I got so many tools. You know what? It's an easy job, but I tend to throw the toolbox at everything I do. One little trick I do that'll help you. Make sure this breaker is flush. Take a lug nut. Do a bottom one, tighten it right up on there. It's going to help you get this caliper bracket back over. All that good stuff. This has got to be just right. Boy, those rotors look nice. I don't know what the hell's up with those. Yeah, the douchebags get them. That's what I did. Alrighty, so the infamous putting your caliper piston back in, and I use a big ass freaking C-clamp. There it goes. bracket on until you're ready to go. Because, like I said, do not put pressure on that line. I don't like hangers like they used to. That's a wimpy little hanger. And just re-verify everything again. Take a look. Look twice, take apart once. Alrighty, looks good. So, this bad boy goes in there. Be ginger with it. Might have to move your pads out a little bit. Alrighty, it winds up nice right on there. These big honking bolts. Jiggle it around. And again, put them in. Oh, my arm's in the way. Hand tight. Well, I should have worn gloves. This is a dirty job. And it's dirtier because I think the shit's more hazardous than typical oil. You know, all that brake dust, whatever that material is, isn't great to be breathing in and stuff. I don't do brake jobs for a living, so I don't sweat it out too much. Alrighty. These little bastards. These are the guys that are 85 pounds. Okay, that's 80, and there's 86. That's what we're going with, campers. I might need an extension on that one side, is what I'm thinking. And again, I don't go 100% binonkers. I think it's loosening. Yeah, you go the opposite way when you're behind something. Give that a little goose. I'm going to give it a good goose because once I get on that top one, I'm going all the way with that. So I'm going to give this one a good one because I got to be around that caliper. It's a little bit of a bitch. Yeah, see? That's the same as the other side. That nut right there on the shock tower, on the... Yeah, can't get it in. You got to use an extension. Bastards. Oh, engineers. None of these guys are end users, so like they just put things together to make them work and then worry about the repairs later. A lot of shit. Alright, now one of the major foo-bars about an extension is that it makes the accuracy of your torquing way off. So you use your judgment, hold it in tight near the end of the wrench. Got it. Again, the accuracy of that may have been off. And if you can get to the fastener without an extension, 100% do it. Your accuracy should be better. You always hold the torque wrench near the back side of it. Go smooth. We'll try to get all the torque at once. Nice. They're done. Alrighty. Now, hopefully I got that compressed enough to put her on. So take it off the hanger. My handy dandy. Nothing fancy. It's a coat hanger I bent out of shape to make it work. Alright. Now here's the price of admission. Will it fit? The last time I did compressed one. Well, fit nice. Alright, so this is probably one of your more important gooings as far as getting vibration and resonance. That's a fancy name for brake schooling. And again, people slather it all over the backside of your thing. But I find if you just put it on the contact points of the actual caliper, that's the only place it's going to contact anyway. So slather it around on those contact points. Go up your caliper, that little guy where it meets the pad, and then this whole surface. And then go ahead and slide her back on. This one you only get one chance here because you're going to goo up everything. Nice. The butter. Just work this up. Get them lined up as good as you can. Alrighty. and I go as hand tight as you can. And then, time for another adjustment. These are 26 pounds, or barely over hand tight. So there's 20. About 26. I don't know. We'll go for that. Alrighty, now we're doing it. Sweetie. Sweet. Feels good. There it is, folks. If you show any bleeding or any of that, I mean, that's something you can do if you really want to get crazy. The fluid in these lines can get very nasty, you know, bubbly and just old. And it's a good idea to squirt at least a little out. But man, oh man, you gotta be on your game. As it's coming out, you need to shut the bleeder, or you'll suck a little air in there. Then you'll have air in there forever. You're bleeding your whole system. Oh man. My personal advice is, unless you need to do it, don't do it. If your brakes are real spongy, then that's something you're gonna have to do. But other than that, that'll be it for today. Maybe I'll go for a ride on the Honda. What? Yeah, for those of you that I still get a lot of hits on my Grom videos, you know, and I feel bad I got rid of Grom, because I really like, if I could justify having two motorcycles, the Grom would have been one I would have kept. I even off-roaded that thing. Crazy dog. But the little 500 is doing pretty good for me. I'm rolling around pretty nice on it. I'm pretty happy with it. So, all right, folks, we'll go from there. Rich MSX 125 signing off.